A Quiet Place, Day 1 Review. New York is the city of lights. Anyone would die to go there. But would you still go there if there's a chance of dying there? These are the types of off-putting questions you'll find yourself asking while watching the new horror sci-fi called A Quiet Place, Day 1. It's the third installment in this relatively recent franchise and gives us a prequel of how the alien invasion apocalypse started from the metropolitan city of New York. It was released on June 28, 2024, and is both written and directed by Michael Sarnowski, while starring the Stranger Things rising star Joseph Quinn and the iconic Lupita Nyong'o. Our story begins with Samira, a terminally ill cancer patient who's living at a hospice in anticipation of her imminent death. She is counting her days and has no will or hope to live until one day a caregiver at the hospice named Ruben manages to convince her to step out for a day. Samira, aka Sam, finally keeps her hesitation aside and takes along her cat and sole companion Frodo along with her as she joins a group outing for a marionette show happening in Manhattan. The day is going as planned until everyone is stunned by strange destructive meteors descending from the sky and occupying the city that once used to thrive with life. It doesn't take long for the alien beings to emerge and wreak havoc in the city, killing people at the slightest sounds their advanced senses can detect. Everything starts to go downhill from there as everyone runs for their life, and Sam ends up fainting due to all the chaos. When she comes back to her consciousness, she realizes that she's one of the survivors from the ghastly alien attack. They're all taking refuge inside a theater now, and she still thankfully has her trusty sidekick Frodo with her. She takes in how deadly silent her surroundings are as everyone is maintaining a pin drop silence as not to alert the sound-sensitive aliens. One of the survivors, Henry, gestures to her not to make any sound. However, the silence is disrupted in a while as helicopters pass by announcing that civilians must remain silent and hidden until they can be rescued by the authorities. Sam watches with horror and panic as the bridge that was supposed to let people exit Manhattan is now being bombed and burned to a crisp to contain the alien threat. All this demolition causes one of the survivors to completely lose it, which earns him the wrath of Henry, who kills him to shut him up for good. It doesn't take long for the power to go out across the city, which leads to the building's generator turning on noisily. Ruben acts swiftly and shuts it down for everyone's protection, but that results in his death as one of the monsters followed the noise. It's revealed by the military forces that the survivors are going to be escorted out of Manhattan through boats that are ready to depart from the South Street seaport because it's been established that the aliens can't swim. Shaken to her core by all the tragedy around her, Sam picks up Frodo and sets out for Harlem. She's accompanied by huge groups of other people who are also stepping out from their hiding places to go to the rescue point. With so many people shuffling to the same location at the same time is bound to make some noise, and that's exactly what happens as the creatures catch up on their movements. They feast on the struggling, frantic people as if they were sitting ducks, and Sam finds herself in the middle of a stampede now. She hides under a car for cover, but injures her foot while trying to get out once the dust is settled. She runs mindlessly in the opposite direction of the site and has now been separated from Frodo, who couldn't keep up during the rampage. On the other hand, we have Eric, a young man whose head bobs up from a flooded subway station to find Frodo sitting there. He barely catches his breath before he follows the cat to an alley where Sam is hiding with her injured foot. When they get a chance to communicate, Sam strictly instructs Eric to keep quiet and head south to the port so that he can flee the city. But Eric is just as clueless and obedient as Frodo and follows Sam through the city all the way back to her apartment. While Sam looks for her medication there, Eric goes through her things and learns that she's an accomplished poet. They bond and talk within the safe haven of Sam's apartment and let out a few screams as the city's noisy trains offer them some comfort. After familiarizing with each other, Sam and Eric agree to go to Harlem together. This involves them dodging death many times and encountering risky situations where a creature follows them through a flooded sewer channel. The beast even jumps into the water in their pursuit but drowns and dies. When they finally make it out to the other end, Eric has faced all his fears and looked death in the eye, while Sam is more exhausted than she's ever been. They take refuge in a church, but it's evident that she can't go on for any longer without her medicines. So Eric returns the favor she's been bestowing upon him and puts his life in danger to get her medicines from a pharmacy. There, Frodo goes on a side quest and Eric follows to stumble upon the lair and breeding ground for the aliens, but he narrowly escapes. When he makes his way back to Sam, she reminisces about her nights spent at jazz clubs with her father to get her pizza from Patsy's after. Reliving this memory is her last wish, so Eric swears to fulfill it and succeeds by taking her to the abandoned jazz club, performing for her, and getting her pizza from a nearby store. Later on, they arrive at the port where a boat full of people has left the store but is alarmed by the aliens forming heaps to come after them. Sam focuses on getting Eric and Frodo to safety, so she creates a distraction by smashing car windows and storming up the place to get all the beasts' attention. This gives Eric a window to sneak past the creatures and hop on board to the ship that stopped and waited for him. As he takes a sigh of relief on deck, he reads a final letter that Sam left him, thanking him for teaching her how to live again and commanding him to look after Frodo. Sam is now left in the city of New York, and she feels fearless and at home. She listens to her favorite song about new beginnings, blasts it out, and accepts her fate as the creatures get to her. This movie comments on survival in the most dire circumstances and making the most of life even when there's a limited amount of it that's left. Sam's journey is beautiful as she's given up on life and isn't rescued by some miracle. She embraces her death with guts and wit instead of being bitter about it like before, all because she's lived fully to her heart's desire now. Both Lupita Nyong'o and Joseph Quinn have lived up to their reputations while also truly satisfying their own fan bases, as their distinct style still shows in their acting. This movie gives us Lupita's unsettling yet silent look of horror that won everyone over in Us, as well as Joseph's adorably panicked expressions in stressful situations that caused everyone to root for him in Stranger Things. The direction and story writing are also admirable, but they're quick-paced while also adding new twists and turns to the already existent concept of sound-sensitive, bloodthirsty aliens. This film does a great job of highlighting the difference between the before and afters of both New York as a city and Sam as the main character. As the city dies down and loses its glamour, Sam starts to gather up her courage and energy for a purpose she's unsure of until she meets Eric. The stark contrast between both situations is also emphasized through the color palettes of how the city once used to be warm with rustic shades and ambiance and is now nothing but a cold blue wasteland. For a movie that's all about being silent, sound has a great deal of contribution to the experience of watching this masterpiece. The SFX team have placed each other and every audio very intricately and strategically throughout the movie to create the maximum impact. The stillness of no sound unsettles the audience as the characters on the screen try to hold on to their lives, which are all violently disrupted by the screeches and roars of the aliens that hunt them. That, paired with a beautiful rendition of Feeling Good by Nina Simone playing at the end where Sam dies a glorious death, leaves the audiences feeling like they've witnessed something great. As of now, the movie has grossed a total of $102.8 million worldwide, partly due to capitalizing on the fame of its cast and franchise. The fact that the recent heat waves caused by a boost in people going to air-conditioned movie theaters didn't hurt either. So far, the rating on Rotten Tomatoes is 86% and a score of 68 out of 100 on Metacritic. This is one of the most anticipated movies of the summer, and rightfully so, as it sticks to true horror by throwing in some good old jump scares here and there while not cheesing it up with a forced romance between the protagonists. It's highly advisable to watch this movie in theaters or in a proper sound system to further amplify and elevate your experience and nerves. And that's it. If you like this video, don't forget to hit the like button, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel to watch the latest and exclusive movie reviews. If you have any requests, thoughts, or recommendations for movie reviews, just drop them below in the comments section, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.